Hello everyone, today I will tell you some information about Vietnam National Museum of History, and this museum was built by France in 1926, and originally it was not a museum. Actually, it was a Far East Archaeology Institute, and it showed the French colonial influence in Vietnam, in Hanoi, especially in the French Quarter. And this museum was formally opened for public viewing on 1958. So why did French build this museum? What is their true motive behind this construction? So for the academic purpose, they wanted to learn about Vietnamese history and culture as well as tradition, but actually after learning and understanding Vietnamese people, they could easily rule Vietnamese people, and that's it. I think that is the main purpose for building this construction. So they build this construction out of our money, our labor, and many Vietnamese people suffer like hard labor, and they even die during construction. The French built this museum on our motherland, our country, without our consent, so that we I think we have the right to make use of these buildings, and the buildings were acquired by the government of North Vietnam in the 1958, and after our victory over French in the before battle in 1954, we took control of it, and in the early period the building was used for some administrative purposes, and this museum is regarded as one of the most educational and significant museums in Vietnam, because it has the biggest number of artifacts of national treasures. As far as I know, it has about like 18 national treasures in here. So let me talk about its architecture. So actually it is a blend of French colonial and traditional Vietnamese architectural feature, and its original structure fortunately remain quite intact, though it's once underwent a few minor renovations in the past, and it has five major exhibition covering the prehistory to the August 5th, 1945 revolution. So the first section is about the prehistoric period, and the second section displays from the time of nation building during the Chun Dynasty, and the third section is displayed about the period the Ho Dynasty to the August 1945 revolution. The fourth section has the artifacts of the Champa Store sculptures, and the last section, the fifth section, is about the Phu Nam or Ốc Eo culture. So now I will talk a little bit about the first section, the prehistoric period. So, what is prehistory? It is the period that humans hadn't invented any form of writing. So, the first form writing was invented about 500 years ago. And this section displays artifacts from the like Paleolithic period, including some stone tools, axes, grinding tables, flakes. It reflects the primitive hunting and our humans gathering lives. And now I will tell you some information about human history, human evolution. So, most of the scientists agree on the single origin theory that all humans evolved in Africa, and around 70,000 years ago, Homo sapiens migrated out of Africa, and they all competed or replaced other human species, and the human they underwent two evolution period. The first one, 6 million years ago, they can stand upright, they liberate their vision, they can see further, they spot danger, and they can get they can walk and get more food. And after that, about 1 million years ago, there is a fire-using revolution, and at first they used natural fire sources like lightning, and later they learned to control fire for cooking, for lightning, heating, attacking, fighting, and chasing wild animals. So in the next part, we got the three cultures in the territory of Vietnam around 2,000 and 3,000 years ago. They are Dong Sơn culture in the north, Southern culture in the center, and Ao culture in the south. The cultures existed simultaneously, but they development regionally. So the first one is the Dong Sơn culture. It is in the north of Vietnam, and the most prominent artifact of Dong Sơn culture is the Dong Sơn bronze drum. It is considered as national treasure, and actually, the bronze drum have been found across the Southeast Asia from eastern Indonesia to the southern of China, with over 200 discovered. However, they are most concentrated in the Red River region, which is the key center of Dong Sơn culture. And this kind of drum is not only from Dong Sơn, but we first excavated it in Dong Sơn with high density. So that's why we call it Dong Sơn bronze drum. And when Chinese dominated our country, our ancestors didn't want them to take all our artifacts to China, so they just buried drums into the ground. And in 1990, when the country was open, a lot of antique traders went around the Red River Delta and they asked the locals for some destination like pagoda and temple, and then they dug up and often found the drum here and over there. So the drum are made of the bronze, right? And it is a durable material. It is hard to break and resistant to oxidation, and therefore the surface of the bronze drum have remained largely intact, and even after thousands of years. And if you have the opportunity to see the drum, you can notice that the surface of it is decorated with geometric patterns and details scenes that depicts Vietnamese daily life, agriculture, life, warfare, animal, birds, and boats. And on the second outer ring of the drum, there are some like motif of blackbird, and this the exquisite pattern on Dong Sum bronze drum are nearly perfectly well designed, symmetrical, and calculated, mathematically calculated, and its precision reflects not only the artistic mystery but also a strong foundation in science and mathematics. And you know so what is the function of the drum? Actually, it was both a musical instrument and an object of worship, which was often used in some ceremonies and rituals. Additionally, the drum was a powerful symbol of authority and cultural identity, and so it reflects the status of its owner and the rich heritage of the culture. And next one, we we got like bronze jars, which can be translated as tháp đồng in Vietnamese. On the top of it, there is a couple of men and women, like symbolizing birth and reproduction. So, and next we got Sa Huỳnh culture. One of the most prominent artifacts of Sa Huỳnh culture is a beautiful jar, and there are no bones inside these jars. It just contains graves, and the body in the past, the body was not buried in there, but it just like was released into the river. And this practice called an táng reflects unique funerary beliefs of the Sa Huỳnh culture. So now let's move on to the history of Vietnam. I will tell you a brief history of our country. So Vietnam has a long and rich history that dates back like 4,000 years ago, right? Its early history began with the legendary Hùng Kính, who was the founder of Văn Lang Kingdom, and it is considered as the first state of Vietnamese people. And after that, Thục Phán or An Giang Vâng defeated Hùng Kính, and he unified the country and established the kingdom of Âu Lạc. But later, Triệu Đà from China conquered Âu Lạc and founded a country named Nam Việt, and it like marked a new phase of cultural integration and foreign influence in early Vietnamese history. And after that, in 111, the Han Dynasty from China defeated Triệu Đà. They conquered Vietnam, and since then, Vietnamese people was under the rule of Chinese government, and this is also called the first Chinese domination over Vietnam. And this period lasted for over 1,000 years, and until 938, when Ngô Quyền defeated the Southern Han army on Bạch Đằng River at the strategic battle. That is, this battle not only helped and the Chinese domination, but also established Vietnamese independence. It showcased the Vietnamese intelligence and resilience, and it is also regarded as one of the most brilliant military strategy in Vietnamese history. So, when Ngô Quyền passed away, our country stepped in a crisis period with the rise of 12 army fighting for power and control. But in 968, Dinh Quốc Linh Yu defeated other 11 armies and became the king. He founded the Dinh dynasty, and he chose Hoa Lư as the capital of our country. But in 980, Lê Hoàn founded the early Lê dynasty, and when in 1009, when King Lê Long Tĩnh, the last king of early Lê dynasty, passed away, Lê Thái Tổ founded the Lý dynasty, and this dynasty is considered as the first long-lasting dynasty in Vietnamese history, because it lasted for around 219 years with nine kings, and the only female king, also the last king of Lý dynasty, was Lý Chiêu Hoàng. So Lý Chiêu Hoàng was forced to marriage to Trần Cảnh. He is Trần Thủ Độ nephew, and Trần Thủ Độ is a powerful, ambitious man who wanted to take power from the Lý dynasty, and he just designed a plan. He forced the Lý Huệ Tông to abdicate the power and throne the princess Lý Chiêu Hoàng. And Trần Thủ Độ also forced Lý Huệ Tông to go to the pagoda to become a monk, and forced him to commit suicide at the pagoda. And after that, Trần Thủ Độ arranged the marriage of Lý Chiêu Hoàng and Trần Cảnh, and then he arranged for Lý Chiêu Hoàng to abdicate the power to Trần Cảnh, and since then the Trần clan took power and founded the Trần dynasty. The Trần dynasty is best known for repelling 3 Mongol invasions in 13th century, and with that, Trần Hưng Đạo played a vital role in defending our country at that time. Next one, we got Hồ dynasty. So The Ho dynasty is the shortest dynasty in Vietnamese history. It existed only in 7 years from 1400 to 1407, and it is founded by Ho Quý Ly, who is a high-ranking Mandarin in the royal court at that time. The Ho Quý Ly forced the young king Trần Thiểu Đế to abdicate, and he declared himself the emperor and founded the Ho dynasty, and also he renamed the country Đại Ngu. He was known for being intelligent, open-minded, reform-minded, and he also implement many bold reforms like introducing new paper currency, reorganize the ownership, restructure the examination system, and he showed an attempt to modernize the country. But despite all of his efforts, he gained no support from the people at that time, because his rapid rise to power and the sudden collapse of the Trần dynasty triggered widespread discontent, and that's why he in 1407, when the Ming dynasty from China came to Vietnam, they used the pretext of restoring the Trần dynasty. But in fact, they actually want to occupy and control Vietnam, right? And when they came to Vietnam and invaded our country, the Ho dynasty was quickly defeated, and Ho Quý Ly and his son were captured and taken to China. And this defeat again marked the start of the fourth Chinese domination in Vietnam, which lasted for around 20 years until the successful uprising of Lan Sơn army led by Lê Lợi. So Lê Lợi established the Lam Sơn army in 1460 by Lũng Nhai Vào, or you can also call it Hội Thề Lũng Nhai in Vietnamese. So one of his fellow is Nguyễn Trãi. He is the mastermind, a great advisor, brilliant scholar, and he is play a key role in planning and leading the uprising to the success, and also made great contribution to the foundation of the later Lê dynasty. But unfortunately, he got involved in some kind of unjust trial called Lệ Chi Viên, and until the reign of King Lê Thánh Tông, like 20 years later, his honor was restored, and the King Lê Thánh Tông declared him as a loyal man and a great contributor to the country. After that, we got the Lê dynasty. Actually, the Lê dynasty was divided into two distinctive periods: the primitive Lê and restored Lê. In 1527, Mạc Đăng Dung usurped the throne from the later Lê dynasty and established the Mạc dynasty. And in 1520, 2 years later, in 1529, 9. Mạc Đăng Doanh, the son of Mạc Đăng Dung, ascends to the throne and as a king, but many people saw the Mạc dynasty as illegitimate, and loyalists continue to support the leader Lê, and that's why in 1553 the Lê loyalists restored the Lê Trang Tông to be the king, and since then Vietnam entered a long period of civil war between Lê dynasty and Mạc dynasty. Lê dynasty in the north and in the south, and Mạc dynasty is the north. But in the 18th century, the Tayson brothers, Nguyễn Nhạc, Nguyễn Lữ, Nguyễn Huệ, led a peasant uprising. They successfully overthrew both the Trịnh laws in the north and Nguyễn laws in the south, and in 1789 they brought an end to the Lê dynasty once and forever. But in 1792 Nguyễn had passed away, and with that Nguyễn Anh took the opportunity to defeat the Tayson, and in 1803 Nguyễn Anh founded Nguyễn dynasty, and he transferred the capital from Thăng Long to Phú Xuân, which is in Huế now. But after that, in 1858 French invaded Vietnam, and in 1867 they took control of the whole south of Vietnam, and some years later in 1883 the French colonized all of our country, the whole country. And yeah, that is the Vietnamese history, and I hope that you will find the information I shared today as interesting and helpful. Thank you for listening.